Annyeonghaseyo everybody, thanks for coming back to my channel. So today we're going to be breaking down the lyrics to Amnesia by Woodz. Beautiful song, let's just hop right into it. Also, this is my second time shooting this video. Okay, so the first lyric is 난 몰라 눈만 감으면 돼. And apparently the translation for this line is I close my eyes pretending as clueless. I'm convinced that something got lost in translation here because this doesn't even make sense in English, but we can still break down what these words mean individually. So let's get into it. Okay, so 난 comes from the word na, which means me or I. 몰라 comes from 모르다, which means to not know. 눈만 is a word that means eyes only. I don't know if it's one full word, but 눈 is eyes. And when you add 만 to the end of something, it means only this. 감으면 돼 means you can close your eyes. The ending 면 돼 is what you put on the end of something when you're trying to say, well, you can do this, as a suggestion. 감 comes from the verb 감다, which means to shut or close. Not like close the door, but shut one's eyes. So what we can get from this is that 난 means I, 몰라 means I don't know. You've probably heard that in a lot of K-dramas or K-pop. They'd be like, 몰라, it means I don't know. 눈만, 눈 is eyes, 만 means only, and 감으면 돼 means to shut. The next line is 이기적인 눈물 한 방울 내. And this translates to by a drop of my selfish tear. Let's get into it. Okay, 이기적인 means selfish, and it's an adjective, so you use this before a noun. If you want to say a selfish person, you'd say 이기적인 사람. A selfish man, 이기적인 남자. 눈물 means tear, and this is one of my favorite things about the Korean language is that some words are just kind of self-explanatory. 눈 is eyes. 물 is water. What is eye water? Tears. Love that. 한 방울 means one drop. This last little bit of the word, usually is used to mark something as the location of something. I don't really know what it means in this context. But 이기적인 is selfish. 눈물 is tear. 한 방울 is one drop. So maybe it means one drop of my selfish tear. I notice sometimes when they translate the whole song, it doesn't always make a lot of sense. But it doesn't really matter because you can still learn a lot from translating the words. Okay, next line is 모든 게 전부 덮였잖아. And that means everything is covered. Okay, so 모든 게 means everything. 전부 means all. And 덮였잖아, I believe, is like a past tense version of the word 덮다, which means to cover. Everything is all covered. Okay, so the next line is 꼬여진 매듭 등 돌린 나. And it means I turn my back from a twisted knot. Sorry about my voice, by the way. This is me fresh off waking up. Okay. 꼬여진 means twisted. 매듭 is knot. 등 is back. 돌린 comes from the verb 돌아서다, which means to turn around. And 나 just means me or I. Or maybe it's an ending to the 돌린. Maybe it's a new phrase, 돌린 나. I'm not sure. But I do know that 나 means me or I. Okay, the next lyrics are 반복이 돼서 버릇인가. And it translates to over and over, it might be a habit. Okay, so 반복이 means repeatedly. And 반복이 돼서 means it's been done over and over. 돼서 and 돼요 and variations of that. It comes from, it's a very confusing concept, and it's got like 8 different definitions. and it kind of means different things at different times. I like to think of this word as it works, not like it goes to work and it types on a computer, but like it works. This works. Doesn't necessarily make sense in this context though, so that's why this word confuses me. But I know that 반복이 돼서 is a phrase that means it's already been repeated. 버릇인가 means it might be a habit. 버릇 is habit, and the ending 인가 poses this as a question. So it's more like, is this a habit? 반복이 돼서 버릇인가. It's already been repeated. Is it a habit? Alright, last line of the pre-chorus is 어제 그 기억 사라졌다, which means yesterday's memory is gone. 어제 means yesterday. 그 means that. 기억 is memory. 사라졌다 means that something has disappeared. I believe it comes from the verb 사라지다, but 사라졌다 is the past tense, meaning it has disappeared. Alright, now we're in the chorus. Amnesia, 멀어져가. And it means it's going far away. Isn't it great how much can be conveyed in Korean with just one word? Seriously, one of the main reasons why I love the language. Okay, so the word far is 멀리, but this is kind of a different version of it so that it can fit into a different type of word. So 멀어 means far, and this 조 comes from the verb 지다, which means to become. So it's saying it's becoming far. It's going far away, I guess. 짜잔. Okay, next line is 이건 뭔가 잘못됐어, and it means something's wrong. 이건 means this thing or this. 뭔가 means something. This word is tricky. Here's that word again, 됐어, that has a bunch of different meanings, but I'm gonna try my hardest to break this down. 잘. So 잘 means well. 못 means not able to, or like can't. 됐어, my understanding of it means that this works. This is okay. This is fine. This works. So 잘 means well. 못 means I can't do something. If you put 잘 in front of a verb, it means you're doing it well. If you put 못 in front of a verb, it means that you can't do it. But when you have 잘 못 back to back, it means you can't do something well. You can't do it well. So this is not working well is basically what I'm getting from this word. So this something is not working well. Something's wrong. I tend to just ignore the ikon in this sentence, but something is wrong. Something is not working well. And the last line of the chorus is 사실 도망가는 것, and it means actually I'm running away. Okay, 사실 is a word that means actually, but I've also heard people use it to say honestly, yada yada yada. But in this context, it means actually. 도망가는 것 means the act of running away. 도망가다 means to run away. So we got the 도망가 right here, meaning run away. When you add 는 것 to the end of something, you're kind of stating the action from an objective standpoint. Like, this is running away. The act of running away. More so like, actually, what I'm doing is running away. Alright, now we're into the second verse. It goes 너무 기뻤던 실망감, and it apparently translates to the great despair, even though none of these words translate as despair. We'll get into it. Okay, 너무 means too, as in too much, too little, too hot, whatever. It doesn't mean as well or also. It means too. 기뻤던 comes from the word 깊다, which means to be deep. Okay, upon further research, I found out that 깊다 means not only means deep, but it also means profound, which is my first time learning this. I've been learning Korean for so long, and I didn't realize that 깊어 or 깊은 had more meaning than just deep. So, 깊었던 means it was deep or profound. And 실망갑 is disappointment. 실망 by itself means disappointment. And then when I add kap to the end of it, it means disappointed. I don't really understand how that works, but just know that 실망 is disappointment. Okay, the next line is 하물며 아물지 않은 기억, which means the unhealed memory. Okay, so 하물며 means much less or much more. Really, it's an adverb to emphasize the following context. So we'll just say a lot. 아물지 않은 means unhealed. So 아물 comes from the verb 아물다, which means to heal or to close up. 지 않은 means to not. So 아물지 않은 means something that is not healed. And then 기억 from earlier means memory. A very unhealed memory. Okay, the next lyrics are 고개를 돌며 더 모른 척. And it means I turn my head pretending I know nothing. Okay, so 고개. Apparently this word means head. It also means hill, but in this context it means head. 돌리며 comes from that verb earlier, the same one, where it said 돌린다, and that meant to turn around. This is another variation of that verb. 또 means again, and in some instances it means also. And you know what's weird? For this particular line, I'm not sure which one it means. But just know that 또 means again or also. I think most of the time it means again. But in this one, it could mean also. You'll see. Now, 모른 척 means pretending to not know. 모른 comes from the verb 모르다, which means to not know. Like that word earlier, 몰라, meaning I don't know. This one's 모른. It's kind of a variation of that word. 모른 means to not know, and 척 means to pretend. The original line was, I turn my head pretending I know nothing, which is why I'm not sure if this 또 means again or also. Because it says, I turn around my head also pretending I don't know, or I turn around my head again pretending I don't know. It can mean either one. I'm honestly not sure. Alright, last line is 그렇게 썰은 저 도미가, and it means ashes piled up along the way. Apparently, I don't see any words here that indicate along the way, but everything else is here. So let's get into it. 그렇게 means like that. 그 means that, and 이렇게, this ending means like. Usually you hear the word 이렇게, which means like this. But 그렇게 means like that. 쌓여온 means accumulated or piled up. 제 도미가 is a pile of ashes. 제, J-A-E, is ash, and 도미가 is a pile. Okay, the next line is 내 모든 걸 전부 덮었잖아. And it means, and the ashes covered my everything. So 내 means my or mine. 모든 걸 means everything. 모든 means every, and 걸 means thing. 전부 means all. 덮었잖아 is a past tense version of 덮다, which means to cover. Now, usually when I see 잖아 at the end of a word, it's kind of giving the meaning of, just so you know, yada yada yada. Hey, by the way, yada yada yada. But in this context, I don't know that it necessarily means that, but just keep that in mind for future reference, because I hear that a lot in K-dramas and in K-pop, although it makes a little bit less sense in K-pop, but in K-dramas I hear it all the time. They'd be like, 있잖아, or something along those lines, where the word ends in 잖아, and it just gives the meaning of, by the way, you know, blank, 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 blank. Anyway, my everything is all covered. Alright, the next line is 눈을 감으면 사라질까. and it means if my eyes are shut, will it disappear? Okay, so nun is eyes and is just the object marking particle. 감으면, 감다 means to shut or close one's eyes, and 으면 at the end of something means if. If it's shut. So 눈을 감으면, if my eyes are shut, 사라질까? Remember earlier, 사라지다 means to disappear. Usually when things add an 을까, it's a question. So it's saying, if my eyes are closed, will it disappear? 눈을 감으면 사라질까? The next line is 더러운 술과 담배 연기로. And it translates to with shots of liquor and cigarette smokes, comma. Okay, so total known. The only thing that I could find for these two words gave me a definition that said conflated or combined. So I guess it means combined or maybe even multiple, because it says with shots of liquor, and 술 is liquor. So maybe combined liquor, combined shots of liquor. I'm not sure, honestly. I did a lot of research, but I couldn't really find anything. So if you know anything, please leave it in the comments, because I really want to understand these two words separately and together. Anyway, 토로 넣은 술, combined liquor. 과 right here means and. You put it on the end of the word to mean this and something else. 담배 is cigarettes. 연기 is smoke. 로 at the end of a word means through or via, or in this case, with. So this line comes out to say, with combined shots of alcohol and cigarette smoke, comma, and then on to the next line. Then the last line of the pre-chorus is 오늘이 전부 사라졌다, and it means today totally vanishes. 오늘 means today, and the E on the end is a subject marking particle, if I'm not mistaken. 전부 means all. 사라졌다, we've been looking at this word the whole time. It means disappeared. So today disappeared. All of today disappeared. Today totally vanishes. And then we got the chorus again. Amnesia, 멀어져가. It's going far away. 이건 뭔가 잘못됐어. Something's wrong. 다시 도망가는 것. Actually, I'm running away. Now we're on to the outro. Okay, now we're at the best part of the song. Every time this part of the song comes on, I start headbanging and pretending I'm playing the drums. This song goes in. This song went so hard for no reason. Woodz did not have to snap like this. Anyway. 난 두려워 너무나. It means I was too scared. 난 means I or me. 두려워서 means past tense of scared. 너무 means too. I'm not really sure why there's a na at the end of this, but 너무 means too. So I was too scared. 난 두려워 너무나. Next line. The next line is 깊은 밤 그 고독과. And it means the loneliness in the dead of the night. And 깊은 is an adjective form of deep, meaning that it's about to refer to the next word. So 깊은 밤, and 밤 is night. So 깊은 밤 means deep night. 그 is that. 고독 is solitude or loneliness. And 과 means and. 깊은 밤, in the deep night. 그 고독과, that solitude. And, okay, the next line is 마주한 현실의 And this line means the quagmire of reality that I faced. You know these are some deep lyrics when I have to learn a new word in English to understand it. I had never heard of the word quagmire until, well, Family Guy, but obviously they're not referring to the Family Guy character. Quagmire is like a marsh or a swamp. We'll get into that. Majuhan comes from the verb majuhada, which means to face or to encounter or to face. It means to face. Well, the verb is majuhada, and since it's majuhan, it becomes an adjective that is about to tie into the very next word. So the faced, what's the next word? 현실. 현실 is reality. But since there's this little symbol at the end of it, and even though it's romanized as UI, when it's at the end of a word, it's pronounced as or sometimes even ye. So reality, 현실에, when you've got this little symbol, it shows possession or ownership. So realities, apostrophe S. It shows possession of the word that it's attached to. 현실에, realities. And then noop is quagmire or swamp or marsh. So the faced realities marsh. The marsh of the reality that I faced. Okay, the last line is 호독되는 내 맘. Alright, so the first word is 호독되는. Now, 호독 comes from the verb 호족거리다, which means to flounder or to flail around. Also a new word that I had to learn when translating this. Floundering is like you're trudging through mud, you're struggling, you're struggling. It means struggle. So this means struggle. 되는 is an ending to a word that means something. I'm not sure. I tried to look it up on Google. Try to look it up on Papago, Neighbor. I couldn't really find anything. So if you know what the ending 되는 means, please leave it in the comments. But 호족 is struggle, and then 내 맘, 내 is my or mine, and 맘 is heart, which some people also refer to as their mind. So 호족 되는 내 맘, my mind. 내 맘 is whole joking. My mind is struggling. Alright, and that concludes the end of the song. Beautiful song. If you've never heard this song, go listen to it. Don't just listen to me sing it. Please go listen to it. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. Also, I know that Woodz is about to do his military service. For those of you who don't know, all Korean men have to do 2 years of military service. So he's about to go do that. So we're about to miss out on some good music from him for 2 years. It makes sense that he dropped this banger right before going into the military. Anyway, thanks so much for coming back to my channel. This video was a struggle because I had to shoot it twice. And I had to get up at 7 in the morning to shoot it the second time. But it's okay, because we're here. We made it. Anyway, I hope that your New Year's was great, that your 2024 started off right. It's been crazy so far. I don't know about where you are, but in the United States, it has been insane. But I just hope that the rest of the year just continues to go up for all of us. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next week. Have a good week.